For decades, Pioneer Car Electronics have been supporting automotive events nationwide like Joe's Minibike Reunion. No matter what you drive, Pioneer's got the gear to upgrade your ride so that it sounds better, and it connects you to the latest in technology like Android Auto, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, and the popular Alexa. Remember, don't break up with your car, upgrade it with Pioneer. Check them out at pioneercarelectronics.com.
This is the Candyman from Studs Racing. We've got tires, and tires. We've got big ones, small ones, street ones, off-road ones. Oh my God. Why do we have so many tires? Tires. We have so many enough tires. Come on and get your tires.
Oh my God, we got so many tires.
Tires. Come see us. Dearborn Heights, Michigan, studsracing.com.
Hey everybody, I'd like to give a special Joe's Minibike Reunion welcome to our friends at Yoshimura. Yoshimura can be reached at yoshimura-rd.com. They're going to be live at Joe's Minibike Reunion giving away some cool systems. They also have a lot of promotional opportunities that you could take advantage of, including their expertise about product design and R&D. Yoshimura-rd.com. Check them out. Hey everybody, it's easy to jump online and just order your parts from your favorite mail order company or online retailer for your mini moto and two-strokes. But there's going to be a time when you need the best part and that hard to find part, or maybe that hard to find bike. Our next guest is the king at connecting you to the best and the hardest find two-stroke parts available. Make no mistake about it. He's Stiv Luneta, and he's going to be on the next Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. Stick around. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. This is Season 7, Episode 13. I'm your host, Joe Sebergandio. Thanks for being a part of the podcast listening crew. We've got a great podcast coming up for you. We've got my man, Stiv Luneta from Scooter Imports. You can check him out at Steve_AWD. This guy is the master of two strokes, and I've been hanging around with him off and on since I don't know, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years now. Looking forward to bringing you up to speed on what's happening with scooter imports. They've got not only that opportunity to be your one-stop shop for two-stroke import and exporting, bikes and parts, but Steve has hosted a variety of rides, not only in SoCal, but Hawaii, and he's got a big ride coming up in Las Vegas. Riding Las Vegas, only like Steve can do it. So we'll find out a little bit more about what's happening there with Steve shortly. I want to take a moment to recognize our sponsors, our friends at Pioneer Car Electronics, where we remind you, don't break up with your car, upgrade it with Pioneer. I also want to give a shout out and another warm welcome to our newest sponsors and our friends over at Yoshimura. You can check them out at yoshimura-rd.com. Been around since 1954. That's a long time, folks. I use Yoshimura on my Grom, on my Monkey. I've got their tidy tail to clean up all that stock nonsense in the back with the brake lights and the tail lights. I've got their trick little LED front directionals. They'll be on site at Joe's Minibike Reunion, not only there to support you with their expertise and product knowledge, but they'll also have an opportunity to talk to you about their product line and hook you up with their local dealer if you're interested in buying any of their new products. They've got something coming out for the small bore crew. It's that new Navi RS2 system coming out, should be out about now. It's supposed to be out in September. And also that exclusive dual TI system for the 2022 and the new 2023 Honda Grom. I think there's still a few of those available. Check those guys out. Visit at yoshimura-rd.com or at your local favorite dealer like maybe Steady Garage. I also want to give a thanks to our sponsors and our friends over at Studs Racing, your one-stop shop for any small engine need. Looking forward to seeing Eric and all the friends from Detroit at the upcoming Joe's Minibike Reunion. That's held on October the 8th at CV Park in beautiful La Crescenta. If you haven't had a chance yet, visit the website, joesminibikereunion.com. It's our 10th anniversary. Also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Dingo Moto USA. They'll be on site at Joe's Minibike Reunion. Happy to have them on board, also a part of the podcast. American Racer, they are a part of Go-Karts USA. That line is, it reminds me of the old Bonanza mini bike. I have one that Jake Moe should almost be done with that will probably be on site at Joe's Minibike Reunion, where you'll take a look at what Jake did with that kit and what you could possibly do yourself. We'll be giving away an American Racer rolling frame as well as a GTS big tire frame this year, in addition to a ton of other products. To find out more about how you can get involved with the event, how you can register and save, again, visit our website. You know, there's an event that I made note of. I placed a video on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram pages, and it had to do with the SEMA Ignited event. That event is held on the 4th of November. It's Friday. It's the official after party of the SEMA show, which takes place that Tuesday up until that Friday. So you can be a part of it. We'll be giving away free tickets to get into the event. If you are a participant at Joe's Minibike Reunion, you'll have a ticket inside the goodie bag. But if you're a business, if you manufacture bikes or parts, or you sell parts or services, and you're just not just a guy who owns bikes, but you're really in business, you need to be a part of the Joe's Minibike Reunion experience, which will be taking place at SEMA Ignited. Take a look at that. Do you want to be in front of 30,000 people that may be primed to hear your message? I think so. We're going to give you a little sample of what SEMA Ignited is all about. Check out this cool video. 30,000 people buying consumers, money in their hands, excitement. They just want to get a small dose of what's happening at that SEMA show. It's a built-in audience. They're pre-qualified. They're definitely car guys. I say come. I talked to Rafa over at GTS. Guys from Steady Garage have already committed to be a part of it. Dingo Moto USA likely is going to be with us. Scooter Imports is likely going to be with us. I'm telling all these guys is to come. If you sell mini bikes, bring mini bikes and plan on selling them. If you sell parts and pieces, maybe you're not going to sell as many parts and pieces, but you're going to be able to start to brand and start to establish a rapport and create maybe a customer base. Just expose yourself to some of the people that will be in town already for the SEMA show that are making decisions on big purchases. Many huge retailers are walking the grounds in Las Vegas. All the manufacturers are there as well. If you want to be a part of it, I'm going to be there. Joe's Minibike Reunion will have a large display. I'm going to be showcasing bikes that represent the best in the pull start category. Jake Moe's going to be having some of his bikes on display. The Steady Garage guys are going to have some bikes on display as well. Some of the hottest mini bikes and mini motos that I can handpick will be there on display with me. Big shout out to my friend Bing, who will be helping me select some of these vehicles and these bikes. I want you to be a part of it. I want you to come and be there with me on the 4th of November. It's SEMA Ignited. Check them out at SEMAignited.com. If you'd like to be a part of it, just hit me up. All right. Had to take care of a little bit of business there. I'll finally leave you with the fact that if you want to purchase Joe's Minibike Reunion official apparel, each year I typically buy too much. This year I'm not doing it. We've got some new t-shirts. We've got some new caps. We've got some hoodies. We went black and white. We also had a blue version of the hoodies for the Dodgers. If you'd guarantee that you would like to have one, order it online now, and when you show up at the event, your t-shirt or hat or hoodie will be waiting for you. If not, there'll be some, I'm sure, left over. Hopefully you'll have a chance to buy them on site. Otherwise, when you get back, you can pre-order that, either the t-shirts, the caps, or the hoodies. All right, guys, finally, we air these videos. They post not only on Facebook, but they start off on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is JMBR Podcast. We scroll all that information at the bottom of all these podcasts anyways. I don't want to inundate you with all that, but check it out, support it, subscribe, like, do whatever the hell you need to do. That's just, that's part of what we need to do in order to do business. We're trying to get up to a certain number. I don't know if it's 1,000 or 10,000 or 1,000,000. Just help us get there. All right. When I go about my rides on Friday nights, which I talk about all the time, I love it because of the people. Our next guest is a guy that not only do I spend time with when I ride on Friday nights with our friends from Honda Grom Lifestyle, but he's one of those guys that had a reputation amongst the guys in the know. And when I talk about guys in the know, it's guys like Bing Flores, who heads up Honda Grom Lifestyle, and countless other guys who always have good things to say about Stiv Luneta. And I'm going to let you guys make your own decision after you have a chance to hear him on the podcast. Steve, thank you for not only taking a vacation day, but spending a few hours in traffic to be here for the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, man. I think we were maybe 2 Friday nights ago. We were hanging out, as we always do, and I came up with, I forgot who I was talking to, and your name came up as a possible guest on the podcast. It's like, sure. I missed that all this time. Bernie. Yeah, Bernie.
Oh, Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie's
okay,
like, you should have, because I've been wanting to have Bernie on the podcast, but he's on the low.
Yes.
Bernie's on the low down, But he was definitely thumbs up, and I had mentioned it to you, and I think you were trying to get your arms around getting the time off, and you're able to do it. And Steve, we had gone back. In fact, I reminded Emmanuel that I don't know if it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we were a part of Dub Live, and we had the Joe's Minibike Reunion gang out there. We had some bikes, and I asked Bing if he could hook me up with someone who's got a cool mini moto, and I think you rolled out with a Ruckus?
No, I rolled
In a
out
Grom?
with a Grom with a full carbon fiber.
And there was a Ruckus too, though.
Yes.
Yeah, do you remember back then?
Yes, but that's a steady build.
Okay.
Ruckus, yeah.
But what I remember is that your Grom and the steady built Ruckus were getting more attention than our old vintage mini bikes.
Yeah.
And although that was a bit of a surprise to me, because I'm really more of a vintage mini bike guy than I am a two-stroke guy.
Yeah.
But it also helped me to really understand that, particularly with the young crowd,
Yes.
and a lot of young people came to that Dub show, that those bikes, particularly the Grom and the Ruckus, that those had more of a draw.
Yes. That's more because they see it on the street.
Yeah.
And they're street legal. That's why.
That's a very good
people,
point.
Interested, oh, I see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because they are street legal, and you are able to see them, that more people, unlike a mini bike, which is going to be riding around some warehouse or illegally on the streets at night. Yeah, good point there. But you have not only been a big part of that Grom and that ruckus crowd, which I refer to as the twist and go or the mini moto versus the mini bike. But you particularly had established yourself within that smoky little two-stroke niche. I want you, if you could, take us back to the early times when you first started to get involved in mini moto. Were you a two-stroke guy from the beginning? Do you remember what your first bike was?
Yes. For the beginning, when I used to live in the Philippines, I'm born and raised over there.
Okay.
And
Whereabouts in the Philippines?
Cavite.
Okay. I know that Larry C just got back from the Philippines.
Yeah.
Was that near where you're from?
He's from Manila, and I'm like down south of Manila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what about Johnny de Mesa? Where in the Philippines?
Yes. He's like my neighbor.
Oh, okay.
In Cavite.
Okay, great. I just wanted to, because I'm familiar with obviously all those guys, and I noticed there's a camaraderie from many of you from the Philippines, and you guys are very, very well versed at two strokes, because that's all that you had out there, right?
All two strokes over there. Yeah.
So what was your first experience with them when you were a young kid in the Philippines?
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was a dream for me to have like a scooter, because all you can hear is like scooter.
Yes.
And there was two stroke, and back then they're so cheap because Philippines and Japan is like neighbors, and a lot of Japanese, people, they ship their bikes over there and they sell it for cheap in the Philippines.
So it's easy transportation, easy to get in. Yeah.
It's easy to get and so cheap. You can get it probably less than $100 back then.
Okay, so when is back then?
This is like from the 90s.
Okay, so in the 90s. Now, that bike may be $100, but what were you making a week?
From back then?
Yeah.
Well, I was a kid, so
Yeah,
it was
right?
a dream.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'm always asking my dad, my mom's like, oh, buy me one. So as soon as I turned, like 13, 15, and that's where the time that they approved my request. Okay, and
Was it more your father helping you get it, or was it?
he's very supportive.
Did your dad have one when he was?
Yes.
So he had a scooter. Did your dad have a scooter or no?
But a bike. back
Okay,
then.
so he didn't have a scooter.
Not a scooter, but a bike.
All right.
But that's how everything started.
Got it, with the bike. So then, did he help you, giving you money for the scooter, or did he allow you to then just work to try to save it, or how did you get the monies to buy your first bike?
So I graduate high school, and
Gift?
it was a gift.
Nice. Did you get a new bike or a used bike?
I was asking for a used bike, so it's cheaper. But, they're very supportive, and they bought me a brand new bike instead.
What was that? Do you remember what it was? I'm sure you do.
It was a SOIM Jet 100.
Okay. Oh, 100.
Yes. It's
Wow.
right away. They give me like 100cc.
You didn't start with no 50cc. Good for you.
50cc, yeah.
Was that by mistake because they didn't know any better, or did they know that you had the capability, or did
Because they want me to be, I don't know, maybe on top of the game.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, having a little bit more power probably is a good thing.
More power and maybe to be known.
Okay, so how cool of them? How cool of them to get you the nicer model. Most parents are anti anything with two wheels, and they want to get the smallest, slowest one because they don't want you to get killed. But your parents thought out of the box. So then the love affair started with the two strokes, just from breaking down and learning on your own and all that, or?
Well, they get mad at me because they bought me a brand new bike, and I start fixing it to make it, look different.
Taking off the fenders, taking off the mirrors, putting on pipes. Was it all that?
Yes, and my dad, he was disappointed. I'm like, I bought you a brand new bike, and you start changing all this, like fenders, like exhaust, like the lights. Like, why are you doing this? I'm like, we're trying to be different on the different bike.
Yes.
So
did he get it? Did he understand that, or?
He's kind of like,
you're crazy.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I think that still goes on. Being in the automotive aftermarket, all that stuff, all the special wheels, all the different seats and steering wheels and headers, you don't need any of it.
Yes.
You just want it.
Yeah.
You don't need any of it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have any of it, especially now when the cars and the bikes are coming so well equipped. Yeah. Bigger engines, better tires, stylish wheels, nice seats. But back in the day, not only was it that personal spin that you wanted to put on that bike to show your own style, but you can make notable upgrades, particularly with performance, and that's with most two-stroke guys.
Yeah.
The two-stroke guys, to me, seem to be less cosmetic, but more performance.
Yeah.
How did you start to get into the performance side of it?
So we went to this event and it was a drag racing, all two-stroke.
All two-stroke, sure.
Yeah.
Still in the Philippines,
From the
right?
90s. It's still
Yeah.
in the, it's still in the Philippines. 90s, they're all two-strokes. And we went to this spot and it's a airstrip.
Great drag strip turns into
It turns to a
Yeah.
drag strip and they're running quarter mile.
quarter-mile races.
And they're only running on the 50cc, and you'll see them doing like 120, 160 kilometers though.
Big crowds there watching?
Big crowds.
Yeah.
And just hearing them, the tone of the two-stroke
Yeah.
with those race pipes,
That did it for
I
you?
fell in love with it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, are you at the time by yourself? Are you hanging with a group? You got a girlfriend with you? How when you went to the
I'm
races?
just hanging out with my dad, couple neighbors.
Okay. Just as a
couple
spectator.
shops.
Just as a
Yes.
spectator.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just a kid and I'm just watching and I fell in love with it. And after that, it's just like a domino effect that when I was in high school, I just want to be a mechanic. I want to work on cars, on the bike, and that's where it's all started.
Got it. So you're going to those Philippine drag races
Yes.
on the airport drag strip. Got you the fever. Were you that helped you make your career decision about you wanted to get into automotive, be it
Yes.
cars or bikes? And look at you now.
Yeah.
So how many years did you really spend cutting your teeth learning about mechanics and two strokes particularly? You know, you've been at it now for what, a decade, two?
I graduated 2005.
Okay, yeah. So you're on your way
It's
then.
been a long time.
And obviously you made your way over here. When did you get out to the West Coast from the Philippines and stay here
I
permanently?
moved over here 2009.
2009?
Yes.
Okay, so you've been here over a decade now, and you've quickly earned quite the reputation for yourself amongst the two-stroke crowd out here is kind of being the guy. I noticed that early on, Steve, because every time a two-stroke, whether it was Bing's little bike
Yeah.
or someone else's, you were always there, not forcefully, but I used to watch you let everybody take their hand at it, and then at some point, you took off the side case and you took off all the discs, and you knew exactly what, and you got things going, and it was your expertise spoke for itself through your actions. And I saw you get a lot of people back on the road. I noticed that you did it with a smile. I noticed that you did it with your girlfriend with you at times. This really is your life, isn't it?
Yes. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. And I'm just doing this to show that the old bikes or the two-stroke is not that bad at all. And it's more fun too.
Well, yeah, I think Americans particularly want the biggest engine and
Yes.
the biggest everything. And although I noticed that your spectrum runs from like Yamaha chappies up to 50 cc's with a little basket on them, all the way up to CBR, CBR 1000 RR,
Yeah.
and in between the two strokes, the smaller 50 cc's, and I'm not as familiar with them. I've seen I know that Ari's got his little Super Dio, and I see that the Bernie's got his, but you've got those. I've never heard of a Honda Byte 50.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a Mio.
Yes.
I've never seen one, especially a first gen, right?
Yes.
I don't know what a Raider is, but they're the fastest drag bikes in the Philippines, right?
Yes.
So you've got your hands in all these two strokes, and from an outsider, I've had a couple two strokes. In fact, I've got a little West Bend now on a Bonanza chopper. They scare the shit out of me. They're noisy, they're smoky. They do seem to be temperamental.
Yes.
So just based on those things, I've always, and maybe it's because I've gotten older, but I shy away from those challenges now. I don't want to be that guy working on them. You seem to love all those challenges. Why is that? Why is it?
Because people doesn't expect that a 50cc, two-stroke is gonna be faster as
Fast as fuck.
as a 300cc bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, because believe it or not, those 50cc two-stroke, if you build it right, you can make them go like 70 to 80 miles per hour.
And the power band.
Yes,
is
and
what-
the power band.
The power band is like not only
It's ridiculous.
When we're riding on Friday nights, and believe me, we take some miles sometimes. And depending on where you like to ride in the pack, you usually don't want to end up behind the two-stroke guys,
Yeah.
especially the nice fast ones, because they're really smoky and they're
Yeah.
really, really loud. And you will get a headache if you're riding behind a bunch of two-strokes
Yeah.
for an hour and a half. And I sometimes love it because I feel like I got in the middle of a little power pack, and I like to kind of hang out. But boy, they take off faster than me. And I don't have a highly modified bike, but it's not stock. Both of my bikes have a little bit of modifications, but you cannot catch up with a two-stroke on a launch. And believe me, you ain't catching them once they're past you either.
Remember that.
and I do remember going through a time where it's like these fucking two-strokes. It's almost like they are like bees, where they're a nuisance, but then you respect them because you don't want to get bit by one of those two-strokes or a bee. There's a little bit. So, how did you then take this knowledge and passion of two-strokes and you go, okay, you know what? Look, I'm buying all these parts. I know where to buy them. I hear about bikes. I've got a couple bikes I'm building. I sell. I got a couple other people wanting to buy. When did all of what you were in the middle of? When did you decide to make scooter imports a real life business? Was that recent?
This has happened on 2017,
Okay.
and because I see like most likely American builds, like Ruckuses, Groms, and 2017. You know what? I talked to this, cool friend, a Japanese guy. I told him, how about this? Can you help me out to import bikes from Japan to bring it over here? And he told me like, you know what? I can help you. Just give me amount of this amount and I can bring you 20 bikes just to start. So I bring this, like Deos, Yamaha Jogs, Gyro, like the three-wheeler
I remember
ones.
that. Sure. The Helix.
The
Those are
Helix
too
and
big.
stuff, yeah. So I bring it in and then start posting. And I see the market is moving.
Posting on the OfferUps, the
Yeah,
Craigslist.
OfferUp, Craigslist, my Instagram page. So, and then a lot of people hit me up from Hawaii, East Coast, from here, West Coast.
Responding to your classified ads.
Responding like, oh, can you bring me 5 of those? And I'm interested. So that's, I open up, a good business of, scooter importing. You know what? I think this is gonna click.
You had already been doing some test marketing.
Yes.
Just through your
to test it
classified
out.
ads. Yeah.
So after that, it start booming. A lot of people hit me up and they trust me because they see my flyers, they see my business, they see my posting. Oh, this guy's really shipping the bikes from the U.S. to Hawaii or from California to Florida. So
And he's doing it, and people are happy with what they're
they're
getting. There's
happy,
not
yeah.
complaints.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
complaints. And if something happened on the bike, I told them this bike is used.
Yeah. Just
You're
honest with
getting
them, right,
as
Steve?
It is.
Yeah.
So, but as a consideration, if I see the guys like sad or
Unhappy.
not happy with it, I told them, you know what, I can help you out. How about this? If you're not happy with the bike, choose another bike. I'll give you half of the price.
Oh, great. Just doing the right thing, right, Steve?
Just doing the right thing because I
Yeah.
want my reputation to be,
Yes.
clean.
Well, that is your product, your reputation, because you're not building the bikes or the parts. You're
Yes.
just the middleman. Well, your character shows that too. I don't think that we come across as many honest, straight shooting, and actually humble kind of guys that you are, Steve.
Thank you.
Honestly,
Appreciate that.
and people that will see you on this podcast will see for yourself. Mm-hmm. So now the classifieds, I'll stop there only for a second because I've had many guests on the podcast that have really become businesses just through their activity buying and selling online. Prestige Mini Bikes. Nick particularly was telling that story, not to mention some of our other guests. So I guess there's a little lesson there for those of you who are maybe on the cusp of taking your passion into maybe something a little bit more real by buying and selling or testing your products or services through these social media outlets, Craigslist, OfferUp. Maybe that's something you guys want to consider as well. So now you're starting to see the real world's reception to this service that you were curious about, and the all thumbs up.
Thank you.
So and now you're going into, you started 2017, you're 5 years into business, and now it's full speed ahead. You also have a regular job as well, right?
Yes.
What's your
I
day-to-day
work for
job?
DHL Express.
Oh, great. And what is your role there?
I work in the ramp. I work on the planes. So you just unload, pushing back the plane, pushing, like marshalling the plane.
Are you going to LAX every day?
Yes.
And where do you live?
Gardena.
Okay, so that's not that bad?
Yeah, like 10 miles.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
10 miles sounds like just a short distance. In LA, that's like about an hour. How long have you been there at DHL?
5 years.
So while you're pursuing your scooter imports, you're also half a decade into not only getting all your benefits, but you get all the benefits of being a long-term employee.
Yes.
While you're also
Doing a side business.
Congratulations. Many people talk about that, but they don't do that. You're doing it. And you're doing it, fortunately for you, for something that you're really passionate about.
Yes. And my job helped me to build my career. Because that's how I open up my mind about shipping bikes, bringing in parts.
Oh, your expertise from the DHL?
They really help.
And does DHL, are they your, obviously, carrier of choice whenever you can?
Because if you buy a product, let's say from the Philippines or Japan, you can get it in one day.
Well, that has to be reassuring for those folks
Priorities.
that are buying from you to know that you also are vested with DHL, because it's not as if they're just coming to pick it up.
Yeah.
You've got to get this from different countries. And speaking of that, natural extensions of businesses seem to rise up. So through all your riding activities and all the social, I guess, benefits, meeting people, seeing bikes, finding different locations to ride, having all that experience, you've hosted and led some of the rides for Honda Grom Lifestyle, our traditional Friday night rides, and you've also done your own rides now. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Now, I think you when we were talking before the podcast, you had the one in Hawaii. That wasn't, when was that? Was that August of last year?
August of last year.
So how did that come about?
I was planning to propose to my girl.
Okay.
To my fiance right now.
Anna.
Anna.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Anna. Shout out to Anna. Anna, I've seen you on a few of the rides. I don't know if you're with us at Dub Live or not. When you first met?
I think she did, yeah.
So my memory's not that bad, but hi, Anna. So you and Anna, you were going to propose to her in Hawaii or something?
Yeah. So last year, August, we went to Hawaii, and my plan is to propose to her. And since I have like a week of vacation in Hawaii, I decided to do my own ride.
Riding the island?
Yeah, riding the island. And since I know a lot of people in Hawaii, and they were asking me, "Hi, do a ride event, for Friday." And, I decided, you know what? Let's do it. And that's where it all started. And I did some giveaways because I talked to like a couple friends that they have a shop over there.
Nice.
And
who are some of those guys? Do you remember?
Oh, his name is Sam's.
The local scooter
guys,
shops.
like,
where are those guys located? Like
in
what island?
Oahu.
Ah, okay. Oahu?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oahu.
Yeah.
His name is Sam.
Great. So Sam helps out. He gives away some
Yes.
prizes, some hats, and some T-shirts.
Yep. And Camuela from Maui.
Okay.
It's a different island, but he helped me out too.
Great.
For sponsorship.
And telling people about the ride too, right?
Yes, and they tell me about
How many
the
bikes
ride.
did you guys attract?
Man, at least like 200 or 300.
And those are mostly two strokes, right, out
Most
there?
likely two strokes.
Yeah.
And some of their bikes, they came from my shipment.
Oh,
That's why.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool, and to see the bikes that I sold, that the progress of their builds.
They're actually out there on the streets.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to address them as a group and welcome them and
yes.
invite them and thank them? How did that go? Were people pretty happy to see you?
Yeah, they're pretty happy to see me, and I give them shirts, I give them stickers.
Yeah,
like a
you're an
lot of
ambassador.
giveaways. Yeah,
Yeah.
and trophies too.
Oh, great.
I give them trophies, so like best bike, cleanest bike,
Yeah.
fastest bike too. Just be on the low because it's illegal to do racing over there.
How long of a ride did you guys take?
The ride?
Yeah. Where did you ride around the big island?
we did the ride from Waikiki to the east, and go back to the west.
In a typical deal, you stop and have, what do you have in Hawaii? You have a pineapple burger or something? Or do you stop and
There's
eat?
a lot of good food over there.
Oh, I
Some
bet.
pokés.
Yeah, poke. I forgot about that.
Shaved ice.
I got some of that poke. I brought it home and cooked it. It wasn't bad.
What's that?
I bought some of that poke. I brought it home and cooked it. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So some of the bikes we have up here, I've never seen like a cooler Ruckus. Tell us a little bit about this bike.
So this is my Ruckus build. This build is from Straight Up Compton when they released it from the movie.
Oh, nice. This was in the movie?
Yes.
Nice.
It's not on the movies, but those are my style.
God,
So
after seeing that,
Yes.
God, beautiful. Because it looks like it could be.
Yes.
What did you do to it? Obviously, the paint's stunning. I can see that there's not a stock part on that bike. I always like the wheels.
Yeah.
I like what you did with the side.
Oh, like the side markers.
Yeah.
And stuff?
Who was involved with that bike?
So the one on the side is the city of LA.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice mural. Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
And then the one in the middle is the one from
See a bunch
Straight
of
Up Compton.
Yeah, there's all the
The
silhouettes
actors,
of the
yeah.
actors walking out there. Beautiful.
Right.
The wheel design, is that a custom wheel or is that?
Yeah,
one-
this is a custom wheel by FLP, and it's pretty cool. It just took him like a week to get it done.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What size are they?
Those are 12 by 4 in the front and 12 by 5.
So these bikes, for those of you who may not know, these start off with anemic 50cc engines, like literally. They'll run for 500 miles, but they're not powerful power plants. What did you do with this?
So I built the motor to 63cc.
Okay, 63.
Yeah, and I'm pretty happy how it came out.
Yeah.
It does 60 miles per hour.
Which is really what you need. The thing that you'll love about these is that it's a lower center of gravity. It's kind of like a lower cruise.
Yeah.
I've seen these things go really fast, especially the extended ones, but you really did a good job there. You brought some other photos out as well. Let's see what else we have here. So this is more of what I'm familiar with when I see Steve. Now, is this a Dio? What is this?
This is a Honda G.
Okay.
Basically, it's grandpas of the Dios.
Oh, really?
Of the scooters of the Honda.
kind of the senior citizen version?
Yeah.
It sure doesn't look like it. Look at that pipe. Jesus.
Yeah, but this bike is my race bike, personal race bike. So I use it for. I went to Verona from last year, and
That's an eighth of a mile, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
for 8 mile, and I did pretty good, 9.22 seconds.
Not bad for a grandpa
Yeah.
scooter, right?
On a two-stroke scooter. But I'm still progressing to make it faster.
Talk about the importance of cooling systems on these two strokes.
Yeah, since the cc of the bike is 110 cc, so I decided to go with a liquid cold setup to, stay cold.
Yep.
Because since you put a bigger piston, bigger crank, so you're putting a lot of heat to the motor. So to not to overheat, so
Yep.
go with a liquid cooled version.
Definitely important.
Yeah.
What
very
else we have
important.
here?
There you go. It's kind of the same bike, but this is my personal bike from street that I ride from
This looks like a
TGIL.
sleeper bike, Steve.
Yes, it's a sleeper bike.
Yeah. So what's underneath the seat, engine-wise?
Engine-wise, it's the same concept as the red one, but this
63
is more
cc's
like,
or so?
It's 110 cc.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
that's-
110 cc, but most likely it's more streetable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do to make it more streetable? Is the difference come with either the braking or the tires or the suspension? When you say it's
the tires is not too stretched. The radiators on the front.
okay, got it.
The brake setup is more bigger, so it's
Yeah, a
stay
little more
cool.
forgiving.
Yeah,
Sure.
and then the tire size too is more bigger too.
Oh, really? Like a 13?
They're 10s.
Or just the width?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
width.
got it. Okay. Well, the two strokes is what you're known for now.
Yes.
You seem to have had that reputation within the core group of, I guess, enthusiasts. They know that you're the go-to guy.
Yes.
Your rides have taken on a little bit now of, I guess, a spin-off. It's a natural progression. You go from being an enthusiast to actually being educated and a mechanic.
Yeah.
You're now feeding the supply chain, whether it's with the bikes or the parts. Now you've gotten your hand at rides and events. Talk to us a little bit about the upcoming Riding Las Vegas event that you've got planned. Is it the 18th, 19th, and 20th of November?
Oh, yes. So November 18 and 19 and 20. And I'm trying to set this a nice event for everybody's welcome. As long as you have two wheels, you
Great.
can join the club.
So it could be a two-stroke, it could be a Grom, it could be. Is there you don't want any big bikes or big?
It can go with the big
Okay, so it
bikes,
really
too.
is for anybody
for
who wants to come
anybody.
out.
Yes.
And where will folks be able to find out more information about if they want to get involved? On your Instagram
just check
page?
me out on Instagram at
I've got at Stiv _ AWD.
AWD.
Okay, so Stiv _ AWD. Friday night, maybe cruise around
Yes.
the strip.
So my plan for it for the 18, I'm gonna do an old school style, like Bing style, TGIF night ride, and we're gonna ride for the strip, for the back road of Las Vegas, and come back, enjoy the ride.
Maybe
Like
have a beer or
hooligan
two.
ride,
Maybe have a
yeah.
little sample of Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
Sample of Las Vegas. Just enjoy it. But the main event is gonna be on the 19th, which is just gonna be for the show. Slow race. I'm trying to do like a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Giveaways, trophies. So you bring your show bike, your one of a kind bike.
Bring your friends.
Bring your friends. And guarantee you.
So
you
Saturday's
guys
the
gonna
big
enjoy.
day.
Yeah, and the big day.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do some back road racing
Okay.
in Las Vegas.
Sure.
But just keep it on the low.
Yeah.
But we're here in the podcast and,
Yeah. Well, look, I think that just be mindful of that. You hear what he's going through to do all this, right?
Yeah.
Last thing you want to do is show up and cause an issue where it gets shut down, right? So even your conversations, keep them on the low. Check him
Yes.
out on his Instagram page. It's Stiv _ AWD. And then Sunday, you're going to finish it with a big crescendo.
Yeah.
You got another.
Sunday the 20th, we're going to do a big ride. We're going to ride the whole Las Vegas.
Oh. You're going to be check out the water,
Yes.
or was it Lake
We're
Mead
gonna
out there or
go-
something?
We're going to go to Red Rock.
Oh, Red Rock, okay.
And then we're going to go up north
Yeah.
and come
Summerlin.
back
Yeah.
to a nice spot.
Is there a headquarter hotel that most of the folks will be staying at, or is there a place that you recommend, or it's up to them?
It's up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a meet point? Is there a startup?
Just check me out on Instagram and I'll give more details about it. Cause
Yes,
right
I'm
now
probably.
yes.
I understand exactly now. How could I be asking you in the location? Want to kind of keep this on the down low. So
Yeah, keep it on the down low.
So another thing that I think will be helpful for those of you who are not only interested in finding out more about scooter imports and Stiv himself, but the upcoming Riding Las Vegas, is Stiv and his company Scooter Imports will be on display at SEMA Ignited. They'll be located next to the Joe's Minibike Reunion area.
Yes,
where
check
we'll
that out, please.
Yes. So that's November the 4th. It's in the west parking lot across the street from the West Gate. It's SEMA Ignited. You have to purchase tickets to get in. We will have some tickets that we'll be giving away at Joe's Minibike Reunion, but you can check out all the information. It's open to the public. Tickets are available online. But if you'd like to be a part of Joe's Minibike Reunion and the Minibike and Mini Moto experience at SEMA Ignited and join Stiv and others, I'm handling the booth sales. You can purchase a space for $500, a 10 by 10 area. Come in, move in Thursday night. We'll get together. We'll have some fun. We'll help each other move in. We'll have some beers. Everybody's got to be set up by noon on Friday because the show starts at 3 and it's over at 10. And it's fast and it's furious. There's a lot of cool activities. There's a built-in crowd. This is the mecca of automotive activity. And you're either inside that and you're inside the community or you're on the outside looking in. This is the mini bikes community's opportunity to be a part of the biggest automotive event in the world. And I'm excited about not only what we can do this year, but what we can do going forward. You can see that there's an area that's all enclosed and there's a cruise. And all the cars from the SEMA show cruise over to SEMA Ignited. But we'll also have the mini bikes on display. We'll have the mini bikes on a part of the cruise. We'll have a little burnout area. We'll have a little opportunity where you can maybe see a little bit of stunting. So, Stiv, I know that you're pretty dialed in with that community. I know White Wall Stunts is a good stunter, and there's a few other guys, but I'm looking for the best stunters and the best burnout guys. I got Long Beach Sprocket. So if you're that guy, hook up with us. It's SEMA Ignited. It's going to be here quickly, folks. I don't know if there's like 12 weeks left before SEMA comes around, but the date is October the 4th. It's a Friday from 3 to 10. Steve will be here. Steve, is there anything that maybe I haven't had a chance to talk to you about, or maybe anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to that we haven't had a chance to touch on yet on the podcast?
Yes. Shout out to Bing from Honda Grom Lifestyle.
Love you, Bing.
He's very supportive.
Yep, and he hooked us up. So thank you for introducing us.
Yes. Goonies, they're going to help us out in Las Vegas too.
Great. Now, the
for the
Goonies,
event.
they traditionally have a ride. This year, they're taking a break from the
Yeah,
ride.
they're taking a break. That's why I'm taking over.
Oh, how nice.
Yes.
So you'll fill that gap with them, but they're not going away. They're just, we all do this from the hobby sometimes. We take a little pause.
Yes.
For whatever reasons. And here's a good example of when you do decide to take a pause, someone will come to help.
Yes.
So that'll fill that gap for those folks who enjoyed. In
Yes.
fact, talk to those guys. They should be a part of what we're doing at SEMA Ignited
Yes.
too, don't you think?
I think so.
Yes.
We could.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so the Goonies from Las Vegas. Also Goonies from Orange County too,
Yes,
right?
they could go. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else do you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out for Riders Block because they're gonna help me out about like the private racing thing.
Great.
Yes.
Shout out
and-
to the Riders Block guys.
Yes.
Yep.
And shout out to my sponsor, Scooter Tuning CA from Canada.
Okay. Scooter Tuning CA from Canada.
They're giving away hats, a lot of stuff from the event. And
Steve, I'll also have some Joe's Minibike Reunion
you.
apparel for you to
Yes,
give away
appreciate
because
that, Joe.
we'll be together in Las Vegas, but then you'll be right back there a
Yes.
few weeks later.
in a few weeks later.
And I bet, Steve, that I'll have some other leftover products
Okay.
from Joe's Minibike Reunion.
All right.
That we'll put together a little package for you. So
All right,
we'll
thank you.
also help support the Las Vegas ride that you're putting on too.
Yes, and my business partner, Pong Gear from Taiwan, they call it PG
Okay.
Parts. He's gonna help us out about for like the two-stroke community. They're doing like custom parts for like the Dios and Yamahas. It's on progress right now, and thank you,
Great.
Pong Gear, Mr. Chan.
Steve, I do want to ask you one last question as we come to the end of the podcast here. I know that you know how to source parts in bikes.
Yes.
I know that you can assemble a bike from scratch. I've seen the work. It speaks for itself. Do you also offer services? Do you do engine work? Will you refinish wheels? Are those general needs that you have for a bike, are those also under the Scooter Imports umbrella? Do you actually do
Yes,
that type of work?
Yes, but most likely it's private. So it's like friends of friends, like if they need the
Got
help
it.
to build their bikes
Okay.
and stuff.
So you're really not open
Yes.
with a store light on
Yeah.
for services, although that's something, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess selectively on something like that.
Yeah.
Well, look, I hope you've enjoyed being on the podcast as much as I've enjoyed
Yeah,
having
thank
you
you,
on
Joe.
here.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Steve, and I've enjoyed our friendship over these last 5-6 years or so. You've been there with me when we were doing this in the beginning at LA, at the Dub Show in LA, and you'll be with us on the biggest stage in the world at the SEMA show together. So we've collectively come a long way. So continued success for you, and we look forward to, I don't know, seeing you on the next Friday night Honda Grom Lifestyle ride, right? All right. Folks, we've been talking with Stiv Luneta from Scooter Imports. You can check him out at Stiv,
Thank you.
and it's spelled S-T-I-V. I know we've said Steve, and it's pretty easier than Stiv, but it's at STIV_AWD. It's Scooter Imports. Hit him up for a cool decal. I've got a couple of them. He'll leave them. We'll give some away. We also have some new Joe's Minibike Reunion diamond magnets and some decals, as well as all the other swag you'd expect. Don't forget, register today, pre-register for the upcoming Joe's Minibike Reunion at joesminibikereunion.com. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening. I want to thank all of our sponsors, particularly our friends at Pioneer, where we remind you, don't break up with your car. Upgrade it with
Upgrade
Pioneer.
it.
You got it. Hey, thanks, everybody. We appreciate you listening. We'll see you the next time on Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast.
Thank you.
Bam.
show.